Every day, we use them without thinking, typing, grabbing, pointing. 5 fingers, quietly working together in perfect harmony. But have you ever wondered, why 5? Why not 4 or 6? Why does nature seem to love the number 5, especially when it comes to us? This isn't just a random design choice. It's the story of how 5 fingers helped humanity rise to the top of the food chain and shape the world with our own hands. Let's go back more than 300 million years ago, to a time before humans, before mammals, before even dinosaurs. Back then, the first creatures were just crawling out of the ocean. They were primitive, clumsy, and uncertain, but they were about to do something revolutionary: walk on land. These early animals, the ancestors of amphibians, developed limbs instead of fins, and with those limbs came digits. At first, nature experimented. Some species had 8 fingers, others had 7 or even 9. But as evolution refined its designs, something special happened. 5 digits became the standard. Why? Because 5 turned out to be the perfect balance between strength, control, and flexibility. More than that, it was efficient. Evolution loves efficiency. Fast forward to the rise of mammals and eventually primates. Our ancestors didn't just walk, they climbed. And climbing changed everything. Imagine swinging through trees millions of years ago. You'd need grip, precision, and the ability to grab a branch fast, or you'd fall to your death. Having 5 fingers, including an opposable thumb, wasn't just useful, it was life-saving. That thumb, by the way, is our evolutionary jackpot. It's positioned in just the right way to press against the other fingers, allowing something called precision grip, the ability to hold, twist, and control small objects. That's the beginning of everything that would define us later: tools, fire, writing, art, and even technology. 5 fingers made all of it possible. Let's pause for a moment. Look at your hand right now. Those 5 fingers you see are the result of hundreds of millions of years of trial and error. Each bone, every tendon, every nerve in that hand is a masterpiece of engineering. Each finger has 3 bones, connected by joints that allow incredible range of motion. The thumb is different, shorter, stronger, and more muscular. It doesn't just help you grab things, it gives you power and precision. Without it, you couldn't button your shirt, play the guitar, or type this very sentence. 5 fingers work together like a well-trained orchestra. The thumb leads, the index points, the middle gives strength, the ring stabilizes, and the pinky balances the grip. Take just 1 finger away, and your hand loses harmony. It's not just anatomy, it's evolution's symphony. But here's where it gets fascinating. Humans aren't the only species with 5 fingers. So do cats, dogs, monkeys, bats, whales, and even lizards. In fact, a whale's flipper or a bat's wing shares the same basic structure as your hand. Scientists call it the pentadactyl limb, which literally means 5-fingered limb. It's one of the most powerful pieces of evidence that all vertebrates, that's animals with backbones, share a common ancestor. So when you wave your hand, you're actually waving a fossil from your evolutionary past. A message from millions of years ago that says, we're all connected. But why didn't evolution give us more fingers, like 6 or 7, if that could make us even stronger or more skilled? Here's the catch. Evolution isn't about perfection. It's about good enough to survive. 5 fingers provided enough dexterity to hold, climb, and craft without being overly complex or fragile. Adding more would make the hand harder to control and more prone to injury. Nature's goal isn't to make us perfect, it's to make us fit for survival. And 5 fingers turned out to be the golden ratio of survival and skill. Now let's jump to the moment when humans started creating tools. This is where our hands turned from biological wonders into world-shaping weapons. Holding a rock and turning it into a blade, using a stick as a spear, tying vines into rope. Every single invention, from the first fire to the smartphone you're holding, is a story written by 5 fingers. Our ancestors' brains evolved because of their hands. The more precise their movements became, the more complex their brains had to be to control them. In other words, our intelligence grew from our grip. The connection between hand and brain is so strong that scientists now know that when you move your fingers, your brain lights up like a city at night. Every gesture, every touch, every grasp trains the brain to think, plan, and create. That's the secret link between evolution and imagination. Let's fast forward again to the age of art and creation. The first cave paintings, the first musical instruments, the first writing systems, all made possible by those same 5 fingers. When humans learned to control fire, build homes, carve statues, and eventually program computers, our hands didn't change, but what we did with them did. The hand became not just a tool, but a symbol of creation itself. Even today, we use our hands to express ourselves. A handshake means trust. A wave means hello. A fist can mean power or protest. And 5 fingers raised in the air can start a revolution. But here's something even more mind-boggling. Despite our progress, the basic design of the human hand hasn't changed in millions of years, because evolution already got it right. 5 fingers, not more, not less, gave us everything we needed to build civilization, to create art, to love, and to fight. Our greatest achievements as a species all started with something as simple as a hand. So the next time you look at your fingers, remember, they're not just tools, they're time machines. They carry the memory of every creature that ever crawled, climbed, or created before you. They hold the story of survival and the blueprint of what makes us human. 5 fingers, 5 chances evolution took, 5 reasons humanity rose above the rest. And maybe, just maybe, that's all it ever took for us to hold the world in our hands. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to WiseUse for more fascinating stories about how science and evolution shaped the world we live in today.